Joe,
So,
I have a question.
yes.
There's a famous movie star who suffered indescribable, and Tim will understand this. I don't know the particulars of it, but it cost him, that kind of particular pain cost him his career, and that was Burt Reynolds.
Wow.
Burt Reynolds, he had jaw and brain stuff. Then he got on what they call the pain pills, whatever the pain pills were, and it caused him to be irascible. And Tim and you would understand, you know, that when you're on those pills and you're trying to look for some sort of relief, some sort of healing from it, your idea is so simple and yet effective. And here's how I know that. Because we gave mine to one of the guys who had post-traumatic stress disorder from our group. He had problems, and he started to use your temple massager, and he was getting incredible pain relief, incredible consciousness, because we were teaching him also what you teach is to practice this with meditation and prayerful intention. And it started to alleviate, and the wife looked at me and said, it was just so simple we couldn't believe it.
Yep, stupid simple. And that deep breathing and mindfulness is what you got to practice when you're using the device. I never heard that story, actually, Michael. I'm really glad you shared that with me. That's huge, and I'm really grateful. That is one of the things, that's what I call a marching order.
I understand.
We've donated 4,000. My company's donated just over 4,000 devices to date, okay? And that's going back to 2007. And the reason I gave it away was because I had to go through a crucible. I had to get my ass kicked. And Buddhists say suffering is necessary at times. In life, it is important to be able to have some different perspective. And, you know, getting your ass kicked a little bit gives you a different perspective sometimes. And that happened to me. And so as a result,
wisdom in suffering.
Yeah, I didn't let it ruin me. What it did was I channeled that ass kicking to a positive thing. And so at the time when I'm getting the patent going on and I'm developing the device, I'm getting my ass kicked when I'm trying to figure out how to go to the market, sell a new product. And at the time, a lot of my friends were getting deployed to Iraq, okay, and Afghanistan. And my friend, Mike Ottolini, Sergeant First Class Ottolini, he was my supervisor when I got out in '98. Mike was KIA in Iraq, and I went to his funeral. And Mike was a great guy. He's from Sebastopol, California. And that kind of triggered a thing with me that I had a soldier drowned on me when I was 20 years old during training with the Army Reserve at Camp Roberts. And that was Private Curtis Young from Oakland, California. And so when Mike died, you know, I'm basically being mocked and laughed at and ignored. And investors were like, hey, we want to make your thing in China, or we're not going to back you. And we don't want to go medical because it's too hard and too difficult. And I was coming from this perspective of service. You know, I served 13 years. I served with two guys that gave all. I'm a hard worker. I was a combat engineer in the Army. That's a very difficult job. My knees are blown out from it. And I'm not afraid of hard work. And so these guys, these investor class folks, were afraid of hard work, and they weren't stoked about making it in USA, and I was. And so as a result, I chose to give it away. So that was my reaction. What can I do? Well, I could give it away. I'm a happy guy. I'm happy to be alive, man. I'm cool. So I don't need money to be happy. It's in my genes. Thank God for that. So I'll continue to go to work and do construction, and I'll live my life the best I can. I'm going to be happy along the way, and we're giving the temple massagers away. So I start getting these letters and emails and phone calls and comments, and I start going and giving them away to veteran service organizations, all kinds of different veteran service nonprofits, Vet Connect, VSOs, all these different places. And then I start donating to Walter Reed extensively, and they put my device in Behavioral Health Chaplain's Office Resiliency Clinic since 2007. So I get these emails and phone calls. Those are marching orders. So all the noise I hear from the investors and the people that are mocking me thinking this looks really dumb and stupid, what I hear is service members, veterans, and first responders telling me my product helps. That's real. Those are people that are going through heavy shit that are dealing with PTS, that are dealing with TBI, that are dealing with all kinds of wounds, invisible and physical. I'm listening to them. So that was my motivation to give it away. And that fires me up in case it doesn't come through.
Yeah, but Joe, it doesn't sound bitter to me at all. It sounds well-informed and wise, because there's a great line by Victor Hugo: nothing can stop an idea whose time has come.
Amen, brother.
Yeah. No, Joe, I love the passion that you're bringing across.
Yeah, me too. Proud of him.
Yeah, man, this is what you're doing is just unbelievable. I've spent 25 years, trying to help patients with, a myriad of things, but oftentimes what we're trying to treat is something that's invisible. It's called anxiety, depression, post-traumatic stress, and it exhibits itself oftentimes in the jaw, in the muscular system, in the face. And I see it from time to time, and oftentimes we will have a patient that's either in chronic or acute pain, and we as dentists kind of struggle to find good methods to treat them. The common school of thought in today's dental world is to give people a night guard, and we equilibrate that and adjust it. But oftentimes, the source behind what's going on is anxiety, and it exhibits itself in the muscular system, in the facial, in the face. Okay. So we've got to, get the temporomandibular joint. We've got to get the teeth and the muscular system functioning in harmony. And oftentimes that's not happening. You throw stress of the day in there, anxiety, depression, traumatic events, and pretty soon, it says it in the Bible, man, gnashing of teeth.
Yeah.
So we're sitting here struggling as dentists to try and get these people out of pain. And so, and there's different schools of thought on that, more of kind of an orthopedic style of thought that's a little bit more archaic. But I was so excited because progressively in dentistry, what we see is a more neuromuscular approach to this concept. And man, I think you got some really good stuff going on, brother.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And I've learned a lot from the medical community and people like you helping to form me, because I don't have a medical background at all. So,
yeah.
It's been very important for me to be open-minded, to listen to other people that know more than me, so I can take that and incorporate in what I'm doing. I want to do the best job I can. I'm in it to help people. I wouldn't have given $4,000 away if I was in it for the money, obviously. So, so that's where it came from, the holistic practices, the medical literature. I got two guys I serve with that gave all I keep in mind. And when I donate, I tell people, like, I'll send some to Walter. I sent 2 cases about a month ago or 2 weeks ago. And I always write a letter and I say, hey, thank you for accepting this. I'm appreciate it. And thank you for taking care of our service members and veterans. And I say things like, this was brought to you by Sergeant First Class Michael Ottolini, Private Curtis Young, sponsored by Private Curtis Young, Sergeant First Class Ottolini, things like that. I still drop.
Good man, Joe.
I let people know their names because Curtis was a 19-year-old kid from Oakland. And one day, I'd like to try to look up his folks if I can find families, surviving family members. And I'd like to let them know that he lives through me and that he is helping many people through his sacrifice. And I hope it means something to them that he's still alive. And this is part of him, man. He did this, because I'd look in the mirror when it got hard and ugly and you're being laughed at, humiliated, mocked because this looks dumb. I'd go look in the mirror and I'd be really pissed off. And I'm like, why aren't people listening to me? And I'm like, man, am I blowing this? And then I'd look at a letter from Walter Reed. I'm like, you're not going to get letters like that. I got a letter from a combat commander on Army letterhead stating the product acted as a natural form of combat stress relief. That's on my website. Company commanders that are in combat every day in Afghanistan do not have the time, the inclination to write bullshit letters to guys like me back at home on Camp Couch in Cazadero Neuroscience Institute. So that letter is, of huge gravity to me. And that tells me I'm doing the right thing. So when it was bad and I'm on my own, nobody's listening, I would literally go in the mirror and I'd look at myself and I'd say, dude, this is ugly. This is hard. If it was easy, everybody would be doing it.
Yep.
You serve with two guys that gave all. Short of giving all, what are you prepared to give for your brothers and sisters?
Thank you for joining us in the Barracks. To learn more about our hosts, guests, and how to support V.E.T.S Mobile Dental Unit, visit www.inthebarracks.org.